This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
And here we are with another special edition of the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. We call this Check the Report, and we have done this now for almost 10 episodes. Not nearly 10, though. We're almost there, and hopefully we'll get there. I think we will soon enough as we do more and more of these. It had been a while before the last one we did with, me interviewing Mike Davis of Detroit Mercy, the new Detroit Mercy men's hoops coach. Got the chance to speak with him. It was a pleasure talking with him when I was at his press conference, his introductory press conference. Got to meet, mingle, and get to know him a little bit, I could say. And it was a pleasure speaking with him. And that was our last episode of Check the Report. Our guest this week will be Jim Brandstatter, the longtime Michigan radio broadcaster and now former, you can say sad but true, Detroit Lions radio game analyst. So the Brandy man that I like to say he's affectionately known as Brandy, and a lot of outcry, public outcry on Twitter. Once he released the news himself, he broke it himself via his own Twitter handle. And once that was done, Doc, just an outpouring of people just showing their affection for the guy and really sending their, you can say, condolences and support to him on this tough matter. It must have been a tough day as well leading up to now.
Yeah, let's get Jim on the phone and let's get his reaction. We're grateful for his time. He spent 31 years covering the Detroit Lions, and we'll get a sense of how this went down, his reaction to it. I look forward to it next.
And this is longtime Michigan radio broadcaster and now former, unfortunately, Detroit Lions radio analyst Jim Brandstatter, affectionately known as Brandy. Brandstatter, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm actually okay. It was a little tough at 10 o'clock this morning when it all happened, but since I've had time to reflect on it, I'm pretty good with it.
So you served 31 years as a Lions radio game analyst. How did WJR let you know the news that you were being let go? And also, how blindsided were you by all of this that went down earlier today?
I got to tell you, I was pretty well blindsided. I did not see this coming, and I had called them up to go over a contract renewal thing, and I was going to do the final 3 years. And I told them, I said, look, we could just do the same thing we did the previous two. And they said, no, we're going to go in a different direction and we're not going to renew. And so I said, wait a minute, are you like not going to renew? Like you're going to fire me? And it's like, I'm not going to do Lions games anymore. And they said, yeah, that's it. So that's how I found out. That's how it happened.
And Jim, you weren't really provided any solid reasoning for why they let you go too then?
Not really. No, that was pretty much it. They did say a couple of things about they wanted it. Later on, I called them back because I got off the phone right away, and I thought that was, I wanted to be a little bit, I wanted to call and tell them I'm sorry I did that, but it was kind of a shock at first. But I called them back, and they said that they wanted to do a different direction in a sense that move a Lions player in there and do some other things. But from a standpoint of job performance or job description, they did not give me any indication at all about that. It caught me off guard.
And now, since you released the news yourself via your Twitter handle, how has the public support been from family and friends?
It's been fabulous. I can't tell you how gratifying it is. I've seen a lot of the social media stuff that's come out. I got to tell you, I've been on the phone a lot today and haven't really had a chance, but on talk radio and through social media, the fans of the Detroit Lions and me who have done the broadcast for all these years have been so nice and so kind. I tell you what, it's taken me back and making me realize how lucky a guy I am to have worked in this city with the kind of sports fans they have, because they've been just beautiful, and it has made me feel really appreciated. And on a day like today, that's a big deal.
So, Jim, I'll let you go with this. I know you have to run. You have all these people that want to talk to you, but will you work anywhere else covering the Lions this fall?
This thing just happened, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I know I've got Michigan football scheduled up. We open up at Notre Dame on Labor Day weekend, Saturday night, and I want everybody to listen to that game. Dan Deerdorf and I'll be there calling all the action, and we're still got those 12 Michigan games and a bowl game following that, so that's the one thing I know for sure I'm going to be doing. In regards to the Lions, right now everything's still fresh. I do not know, what opportunities may be out there, so I'll wait and see and If something happens, believe me, I'll let everybody know where I am.
And Jim, we just want to ask you one more thing. We obviously want you to share memories. What are one or two of your favorite memories calling games on WJR for the Detroit Lions?
Well, you've got to go back to being able to call Barry Sanders every one of his professional football runs and being there for every one of them. I'll tell you what, that's a resume builder by itself. The biggest thing that I remember most are the guys that I work with. We have a great crew. I mean, from Frank Beckman when I worked with him at the first to Mark Champion, now to Dan Miller, those guys were all so good and so generous to me. And the other thing is, we worked as a team. The engineer, Al Rosenberg, our spotter, Joey Abramson, our stats guy, Mike Bratta, we all had one goal in mind, that was to put the best broadcast out there possible. I felt like a team, like we were back playing football. And what was important was what Schembechler told us. The team. Everybody on that crew did their best to make it the best broadcast possible. And to me, I think that's one of those things that I'll miss the most. And it was a highlight of my career working on Lions football.
All about the team all the time. And Jim, with that, Jim Brandstatter, thanks for all the time and good luck to you moving forward.
Great to be with you. Thank you so much.
Awesome stuff. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that was Jim Brandstatter, the Brandy man that Canada like to call him, affectionately known as Brandy. And he has called Michigan football games for a long, long time now as a play-by-play man alongside Dan Deerdorf, as he noted himself. And, for 31 years, Doc, he had called Lions football on the radio alongside Mark Champion, Dan Miller, two guys that I know for sure. I don't know if there was somebody before Mark Champion, but Mark Champion, a guy that's called Pistons games. Dan Miller on Fox 2 as their lead sports anchor, sports director, too, at Fox 2. So guys with a lot of accomplishments themselves and credibility, and Brandstatter has a ton of credibility and, reputability, and people love him, have showed support, tons of support for him as well since his dismissal, which he announced once again via his Twitter handle earlier on Tuesday.
I feel like in terms of reviewing how it happened, look, companies are well within their right to make decisions, but I feel like the outcry is really going to be about how they did it. I mean, a man that's been with you for 31 years, you just do it over the phone just like that, and to have his replacement lined up just like that.
Right, already knowing, they told him then too, right when they let him go, we have a player we want to replace you with. And they probably told him Lomas Browner found out shortly after. In poor taste. This sounds like really big time in poor taste of WJR, who didn't always cover Lions, by the way, didn't always carry Lions games, but still a long time broadcaster of Lions games. Jim Brandstatter, as we said, 31 years on the job as a Lions radio game analyst, and it's a shame he found out that way. Nobody with that amount of years on the job, all that service and loyalty to one organization should be notified how he was notified and then let go. I mean, I think you have to do something fireable, for sure.
And we thank Jim for coming on Check the Report. Thank you for everyone that supports the project. You can follow Vito on Twitter at Vito Jerome. You can follow the network at Detroit Podcast. This has been the latest edition of Check the Report.
Bye-bye.